We're going to start off with a family who's suing the Veterans Administration. So we'll be joined by Representative, or should I say, Attorney Howard. And you just got to see what's going on with that, because suing the Veterans Administration, that's along with our Thursday with the legal line with Ted London. So we've got some law issues going on there, and he's going to tell us how we can navigate through our loved ones when they are, or setting them up before they leave this earth. And of course, it is Relationship Thursday with Cheryl Grace. She'll be in studio. I believe she told me she'll be in next week, which is this week, which is today. And I'm looking forward to it. And we'll unpack the deep question of how women, or how many women, have truly been loved well. What does that sound like? What does that feel like? I think I know what it feels like. Loved well. I know you guys can't wait to hit the phone lines on that one. And to close the show, we'll be talking to the Chicago Urban League, who'll join us in studio with some important updates. So remember, our phone number is 773-591-1690. And I want to go ahead and introduce our guest as he is waiting on the live line. So we're starting off today, as I said, according to, this is actually close to home. According to the Chicago Tribune, the Veterans Administration failed to treat what doctors call a common infection in a Plainfield father. Now, this Black family says that the mistake has changed their lives forever. And some of you actually know what that means. Just one misdiagnosis or one situation can start a ripple effect. And they're talking actually about taking the VA to court. And that's what they're doing. Joining us right now on the live line is the attorney representing the family to walk us through what happened and what's at stake and why this case matters, not just for one family, but for all of us. Attorney Howard, welcome to the afternoon show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So can you walk us through exactly what happened in this case and how the VA failed this family?
So in this case itself, that got filed in federal court. It kind of came to people's attention because the title of the case is Walker versus United States of America. So we're suing United States of America because it's the Veterans Administration. So people not understanding, that the Veterans Administration is behind the case. It's kind of eye-popping. So called attention to people to investigate that. The underlying part of the case, though, is that Mr. Walker, he shows up to Hines VA emergency room. He has fatigue. He has problems with his leg. He just has generally not feeling well. But his presentation is so bad that they admit him into a room. He undergoes a number of tests, but he has a routine simple blood test. And that blood test turned out to be positive, had positive cultures, and just routine antibiotics should have helped relieve his situation. Ultimately, though, he goes for about 3 weeks without being told that he has a positive blood test, without being presented with any antibiotics. He ultimately gets some severe sepsis, goes to his heart. He ultimately has to have open heart surgery. And with the open heart surgery, then he ultimately has multiple strokes. And today, he can't leave his house without a caregiver, can't work, and there's multiple other problems.
How much of this could have been avoided had this been told to him sooner, had they jumped on this a lot sooner?
This is like a routine blood test that has routine antibiotics that's provided for it. Mm-hmm. And he would have been, perfectly fine had he just had the right care and treatment.
Wow. That's a little scary. I mean, we've had guests in the past as early as, or as soon as yesterday, recent, I should say, as yesterday, that spoke about getting a second opinion and how important it was to do so. And that's why she was able to tell her story today. And when you think about these malpractice claims over a 10-year period, just based on my statistics here, over a 10-year period, up to, should I say, maybe let's say 2013, the VA saw over 1,200 patients to maybe a span of 1,600 medical malpractice claims every year, of which is an average of 291, almost under 391 cases per year that result in this malpractice for as far as the claims go. But before we go to break, I just want to make sure that everyone can give a call if they have any questions about something like this, because you feel like, okay, I've served my country. I'm a veteran. I can go to the VA hospital and be treated as I feel is fair. We are all often talking about how good medical treatment is far few and in between in certain areas, but when you serve your country and you go to the VA hospital, is that the expectation? I'm going to ask you that when we come back, Attorney Howard, when we go to traffic and weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to WVON 1690. You're listening to the all-new afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan and LaDonna Ray. Atiba's out today, but we have on our live line Attorney Howard, who is helping us navigate through the family that has taken on the VA hospital as a lawsuit has been filed. And Attorney Howard, before we went to break, it just kind of pains me when we talk about healthcare disparities anyway. And we often point to the gaps and the lack of access when we see them in certain communities, especially in communities of color. But in this case, we're looking at the VA, which has long carried a strange reputation, to say the least. I say strange reputation when it comes to how it treats its very veterans and that have pretty much served this country. But from your perspective as their attorney, what message does this lawsuit send, not only to the VA, but also to veterans and their families across the country?
Well, our society has always had a historic understanding that people who serve our country, when they go to serve, many of them don't come back the same people that they went in as. And they need medical care and treatment, whether that's physical or mental care and treatment. And we've always, as a society, known that we owe an obligation to the people who protect us to make sure that they get the very best medical care and treatment for having served for us. I'm not saying that the Veterans Administration is not providing that care and treatment. I'm just saying is in this particular case, for Mr. Walker, that care and treatment wasn't provided to him. However, kind of how our society is debating politics and our budgetary ways in which we want to spend money, we kind of float out there various ideas about how we're going to do things politically. And, lately we've been floating out ideas that possibly the Veterans Administration wouldn't be getting the same type of resources that they've got in the past. And my particular case with Mr. Walker shows what happens when proper resources aren't presented to medical care facilities. And I'm just saying is at this time, this is a good case in point when we're debating the resources that we're providing to our veterans, why we need to make sure that we fully fund medical care and treatment for our veterans.
I love it. I love it. Let's just go ahead and grab a caller. Phil, hi, you're live on the afternoon show. Phil, can you hear me? One moment. There we go. Hi, Phil.
Hello. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call. Hey, I wanted to call it, I'm a service-connected disabled veteran. I'm 100% on mine. But where I was blessed in the whole process. I started out going to the clinic that I went to, and I had a black medical doctor and a black psychiatrist, and they could relate more to me. So I don't know if it's on with about your conversation here, but it does. The doctors, they do care, but and when I started my process, one of the people told me that the things have changed a great deal, and he said Michelle saw to that, referring to Michelle Obama, saw to the changes for the better. But then after they left office, I saw the change in how the staff were acting. They've changed. I used to be called Mister by everybody, and then they became under certain stress and things when the Obamas left office. The whole attitude changed about how they were treating and dealing with people, and I take it that the people still care, but they're just under a certain amount of stress themselves, losing funding. I was at the clinic, and the nurse told me that she had to.
Yeah, we gotta leave it right there. Thank you so much, Thale. Thank you so much, Attorney Howard. Just one final question before we get out of here. What does justice look like for this family? Is it about financial compensation, systemic change at the VA, or both?
I think my clients thank you for allowing me to be on your program. I think it's cathartic for them that they get to tell their story. Obviously, as you said, the Tribune picked up their story as well as many news stations. So just being able to tell people what had happened to them, I think also for them, they want to make sure that no one else suffers the same hardship that they suffered. But then ultimately, the lifestyle that my clients have is completely different than the lifestyle that they had before. My client had his own trucking business. He had a first family that he had 3 children with, and then he has a second family, a younger family that he has 3 children with. Both those families were all very close together. It's a very close-knit family, and my client took care of all of them. And now he needs somebody to take care of him. His wife is not fulfilling her hopes and dreams or the career that she wanted to have because she needs to be able to be there around the clock 24/7 for him. And she's just really at her wit's end being able to do it. So my clients do just want to have the resources that they need in order to be able to have somewhat of a life. And also the extended family, needs my client to have those resources in order for them to be able to live in the same station of life that they would have had this not occurred to him.
Well, thank you so much, Attorney Howard. We're happy to look into, the updates. You can let us know what's going on with this story as it unfolds and comes to a conclusion. Hopefully it'll be